Good afternoon, ladies and gentlemen. Thank you very much for introducing me by Mr. Chairman. And in this time, I'm very happy to be here for sharing this great important opportunities with you. And I'd like to thank you also for Professor Takara Sensei and his colleagues. And now I would like to introduce our activities following the UNESCO chair programs. And it looks like a little bit different from the former presentations, because our target is historic city, so cultural heritage and risk management. So anyhow, I would like to start. So at first, I would like to show you about the framework of academic discipline in our institute. So before that, so disaster and mitigation is supported by the academic field, by the engineering mainly. On the other side, the conservation of cultural heritage is supported by the historian and humanities and so on. So that we have a very big gap in between the cultural heritage and disaster management. And our Ritsumeikan University also is established in Kyoto City since 1901. And we have more than 47,000 students and 1,900 faculty members. So as that we should do something for this very important culture and historic city for Kyoto from the viewpoint of the academic research activities. So we try to fill up the big gap between the engineering and humanities. And our purpose is mainly, we have three purposes. One is research and development for this challenging project, and also the human resource development and international contributions. So one of the very important pillars for our activities is this human resource development. And today I would like to introduce you about the international training course for risk management and cultural heritage. And this from 2006 we start this UNESCO chair program. And it's needed more than 20 days now. It's a kind of the summer school, but gradually the term is get longer and longer. And here you can see the theme of our international training course. So at first we start from the discuss about the methodology and earthquake risk management and wooden and masonry composite, historic city and the recovery to risk reduction, and territorial settings. And after that, so there's a risk due to fire. So because Japan is a very famous country, so built by wood and paper in historic city and buildings. So fire is very important target for us. And earthquake and flood and climate change. And last year, our theme is how to think about between the immovable and also the movable cultural heritage from the viewpoint of disaster risk management. And now you can see the basic timetable of our international training course. So it needs around 20 days. And the first part, so green colored slot shows a lecture, and the blue color slot shows a workshop, and the orange colors shows discussion and development their work. So our aim is to build a kind of the source or seeds for actual disaster risk management plan for each country and each cultural heritage site. And the first part is mainly using the time for understanding the value of the cultural heritage and risk assessment, and how to prepare or response for the disaster on the case of Kyoto. And in the middle, we put the opportunity as a site visit for museum or actual disaster affected area like Tohoku or Kobe and so on. And the last part is used for the case study project for each participant to build up the source of a base of the risk management plan for each country and sites. And our participant is coming from the both sides. So one is from the cultural heritage professionals like site manager from World Cultural Heritage Site. And of course, the other part is coming from the disaster management professionals like researchers or politicians and so on. So we try to collaborate, make the collaboration in between the different fields, and because each participant have their own challenges or target based on their own culture, heritage, culture and country's conditions. So we try to pick up the participants from the both different fields for this kind of the collaborative activities. And now you can see the country which we can invite the participant from. So over last 20 years, 12 years, more than 100 participants from 56 countries have been trained through our international training course. And this shows the increasing number of applicants. So at first we start in 2006. So only 8 persons apply for a course, and of course all the person can pass through. But now, very fortunately, we have more than 250 applicants from all over the world, but because of the budget limitation, so our university is big, but only the private university, so that we should get money from ourselves and also from some donors. Of course, maybe everybody knows that UNESCO can only support us as not the money, but moral support, only the moral support. so as that we should find another donor. So very fortunately from 14 to 16, we got the match fund from Toyota Foundations. And but after now, so we should find another donor. So now we are starting the collaborative activities with National Institute for Cultural Heritage. And anyhow, so because of the limitation of our capacity, we have only around 10 participants for every year. So it's our limit. Anyhow, now so you can see the balance of the number of participants from the areas. So most of the participants coming from South Asia and Europe, Southeast Asia, and so on. So anyhow, UNESCO can only support us to choose the persons to think about how to keep the balance in between the every country and something. So anyhow, we covered more than 50 countries through this more than 10 years activities. And also we invite lecturers for everyday course, every year's course. And of course from our Ritsumeikan Institute, 13 lecturers are invited to, it's our duty. And 14 and more lecturers from Japanese countries like cultural affairs or national government or fire department of Kyoto City and so on. And also we very fortunately get inviting the lecturers from the overseas, from UNESCO, cultural sector, and World Bank, and ICROM in Rome. It's one of the very important educational organizations for maintenance of cultural heritage. And also we have the collaborative activities with each developing country like Nepal and Smithsonian Institute. And here you can see the element of training course. This like a kind of the timetable for whole 20 days of our course. For the first part, core principles and value assessment and risk analysis at site and museum, and urban disaster risk reduction, risk preparedness and response, and prevention and mitigation technologies and techniques, and disaster imagination game. So it's a kind of the method of the workshop to share the discussion with the local community people, and also the risk prevention, mitigation, emergency preparedness. And after the middle presentation, we move to the discuss about the post-disaster recovery, cultural landscape, and planning for recovery, lessons from Kobe, and lessons from great East Japan disasters, and international framework for disaster risk management. And lastly, so national policies and practices. And then after that, every participant summarize their own work into the last presentations. And because of the time limitation and the budget limitations, we have only 20 days. But it seems too much concentrated for the participant. They need more time to go through the very beautiful city, Kyoto or something. So I'm very sorry, but I would like to think about how to make it more better for all of the participants. And now I would like to show you some scenes in our international training course. So site visit is very important for our activities. So we have a collaborative activities with Kiyomizu-dera World Cultural Heritage Site, and this one is a Pontocho. So Pontocho is hit by the fire 2 years before, and here is photos in the Kumano-Kodo. It's a historic route in the mountains areas, and it's also suffered by the landslide and by the typhoons 4 and 5 years before. And also this Kumano shrine is slightly attacked by the landslide because of the heavy rain. Okay. And the next one is movable for the movable cultural heritage. We unfortunately get the support by the Smithsonian and also the Kyoto National Museums. And in the site, the participant can exercise how to treat each movable artifact from the heavy rain situations and so on. Next. Okay. And so in the last day of the international training course, we had international symposiums, and within the symposiums, so the selected participant, only 3 participants can make the presentation for the oral for this kind of the international symposiums. And very fortunately, some of our former participants become a very important resource person for teaching for next fiscal year. So like this kind of the cycle, we believe that it should be quite important. And also, we had follow-up activities because so our participants sometimes try to start their own activities in their own site and countries. Then, so they need some help for do some short-term and training course in their own site. So that we very frequently go to the site and make a short-term local training course for the former participant. So we have a site in the Kathmandu, Patan district, and hit by the earthquake in 2015. So as that we continuously make a research and activities with them. And also through these activities we published some book or guidebook. So very important one is this training guide. So of course we have a very limited capacity. So as that we try to summarize our important part of training course into this kind of the training guide. And every year, so we publish the proceedings for each participant and collaborative colleagues. So as that if you have interested in this kind of the outcomes, so please visit our website. And lastly, I would like to show one examples outcomes made by the participant in 2015. So it's this example is for the Netherlands, and in this kind of the situations, so they have a very important historic buildings and natural settings and very important traditional culture. And he tried to make a research about the cultural value for the every part of this site. And also they try to find out what the possibility of disaster risk around the site. And they make a flowchart for before the disasters and how to operate after the disasters, like this. And lastly, he proposed three major pilot projects. So one is so to develop the assessment application to understand the risk of each site and each cultural value. We need volunteer peoples, and so as that they try to develop this kind of the tools, very simple tool to make a research about every part of their cultural heritage site, risk and value. And second one is the emergency response game. So to raise the interest from the local peoples, this kind of the application should be very useful to catch up their interest or for the importance of risk management for cultural heritage. And lastly is the local workshop. So after the disasters, so we should discuss with the local peoples to how to build back better for future with the continuous cultural value for future. Okay, so this is the last slide, and so anyhow, so our activities is in between the protection of cultural heritage and disaster mitigation research. And so if you have kindly so interested in our activities, please visit our website. So and also WENDI project, I believe that so we can make various types of collaboration because for this Japanese historic city, water is very important. So flood is, of course, very serious problems. But in the same time, we need the water for controlling the fire in our local areas also. So as that through our future collaboration, if we can share the information and share the resource person and share the project, we are very happy. So I'm sorry, my English is very Japanese and poor, but thank you very much for your attention. Thank you.